All right, 4:15, I call the meeting to order. Would you please rise and join me in the pledge of allegiance? Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Roll call, Sam Martin, here. Martha Eldridge, here. And Rick Morgan's here. 3:30 this afternoon, we did have a non-public session upstairs, which was under RSA 91A32D for acquisitions. I'll make a motion, we seal those minutes.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Public input. Anybody? Rick?
I just wanted to inform the board that unfortunately the playground grant that was applied through Lowe's, we unfortunately did not receive.
You don't have to
Yep.
know.
Exactly.
And thank you for applying. On that way as well, so.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else under public input? If not, we'll start into the red folder. We have the minutes of the Selectmen's meeting, Selectmen's work session and non-public session, which occurred on Monday, July 23rd. I make a motion, we accept them as printed.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Abstain.
We have the minutes of the Selectmen's meeting, which occurred on Monday, July 23rd. I make a motion, we accept them as printed.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Abstain.
Sam abstained on both of those as she was not here for that meeting, for work commitment. We have the check voucher totals. Payroll for week ending 7/28 was $47,987.79. We had accounts payable for week ending 7/23 in the amount of $10,999.31, for a total dispersed last week of $58,987.10. Additionally, we had water and sewer accounts payable, which we track separately, in the amount of $4,262.53. I make a motion we sign.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
For anybody here for the first time or watching for the first time, these are the check voucher totals. Every bill that comes in has a multi-tier review, including reviewed individually by us and initialed by us before it gets to this stage. We have the payroll reimbursement request. This is from water and sewer in the amount of $2,979.98. I make a motion we approve it.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. We have a
timber tax warrant instructing the tax collector to collect $3,540.36. This is how to get the tax, not the mall.
It's for the state forest.
For the state forest, okay. Make a motion we sign it.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Sorry. I'm getting all messed up. I don't go the same way. We have a copy of a wetlands permit, which is copied. This is off from Ridge Road. It's for somebody repairing a dock or a wharf. It's here in the folder if anybody'd like to look at it. In our folders approving bills, there was one in to be in for our approval. It's from the Conservation Commission. Their June 13th meeting, they approved an expense of $125 for, in here it says, for a membership fee to the Fish and Game, Non-Game and Endangered Wildlife Program. This is one that had come up before, and in the minutes, it actually refers to it as a donation. And there's an issue with the town of Ossipee and any one of its departments donating money which is owned by the taxpayer. If it's a membership where they get something back for it, it's a different story. So at this point, I'm going to make a motion that we don't approve this expenditure, but that we ask the Conservation Commission to come back to us with what they receive, if in fact it's a membership or a donation, and if it's a membership, what we get back for it.
Well, we've already been through this one, so that's why I second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
So, I realize that, but it's a new Conservation
Right.
Commission since then, so I want to give them an opportunity to just not shut it off. We have a raffle permit application from the White Horse Addiction Center for date and time of drawing is 8/25/18. I make a motion, we approve it.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We have copies of two reports. They're lab reports on the water testing that was done at Duncan Lake and the Mill Pond. Can you read these? Well, I did, and I can't, it makes absolutely
Yeah, it doesn't
no
make any sense.
sense to me whatsoever, but they are here if anybody would like to look at them. I mean, I literally could not.
It has the test results, but it doesn't tell you what the appropriate criteria is.
No, it actually, even worse than that, it doesn't even actually have the test results. It explains what the test results would say, and then doesn't say anything. I read this thing 3 times, but anyway. We did get notified last week for these tests that they came back fine, so I'm gonna presume that they still are, but that, I couldn't understand. By way of,
Understood the bill.
huh?
Understood the bill.
Oh, yeah. By way of notice, and I believe this is already on the website about the gym being closed,
No.
okay?
Yes, it is.
Oh, it is?
Yes, I can on today.
Okay.
I can't even.
The gymnasium is gonna be closed for repairs starting the 1st of August, which is basically now. And it's gonna be closed for about 2 weeks while they do repairs and paint, the whole building.
The meetings won't be affected.
Meetings will not be affected, correct, they'll still be here. Before I read this from the Ossipee Economic Development Council, I had an opportunity on Wednesday. I participated in an informal roundtable discussion up at Hobbs with the new owner of the former Whittier ski area. It's John Kenny, Joe Kenny's brother. He has some great ideas. He definitely, unlike the previous owner, wants to see that property redeveloped into something substantial. And we had a roundtable discussion with members of our Economic Development Council, some of the other area business owners from West Ossipee. There was a gentleman there from the State Department of Economic Development. It was a productive first meeting. It was nice to hear that he's not just looking to sell it into house lots. He wants to see it turn into a major development. With that in mind, one of the things that we discussed was the economic revitalization zones, which we have already created in Center Ossipee and down at what was formerly the Lydall property, which has now been redeveloped. And how helpful it might be to do an economic redevelopment zone up there, because what it does is for anybody coming in the case of the economic redevelopment zone, it gives them a break off the state business profits tax for a few years while they're getting established. So this is from our Economic Development Council, anyway, and I'll read it. Dear Board of Selectmen, the Ossipee Economic Development Council is writing to request that we expand our current economic revitalization zones. Currently, we have 2, one on Route 16 in the area of Granite Road and the other here in the Village District of Center Ossipee. We would like to request that we create a new zone in the West Ossipee area. As a board, we feel that the town of Ossipee needs to be competitive in the commercial market. Route 16 is one of Osspi's biggest assets and feel that providing businesses with an incentive to start, grow, or relocate their business here would spark the growth of local economic development. Attached to this letter is a proposed area that we would like considered to become a new economic revitalization zone. Of course, with your advice, suggestion, and direction, this proposed area can be amended. Secondly, this board would like to request that the Board of Selectmen also consider making this proposed area TIF district in an opportunity zone. A TIF district essentially reallocates funds from property taxes to encourage investment within the district. Any increased tax revenues collected as a result of an increase in property values then go into the TIF fund and can be used by the city or town for a wide range of purposes within that zone to promote redevelopment. Tax increment financing, which is what TIF stands for, is a public financing method that is used as a subsidy for redevelopment, infrastructure, and other community improvement projects. More information on this can be found at the New Hampshire Office of Strategic Initiatives. An opportunity zone is part of a new program meant to encourage development in economically distressed areas across the U.S. by allowing investors to defer certain taxes on investments in those communities. In May, Governor Sununu nominated 27 low-income areas to be a starting point for this program. Becoming competitive in this day and age is critical to the growth and sustainability of our town. With uncontrollable rising school taxes and more businesses settling in our neighboring towns, it would be in the best interest of the town of Ossipee to provide incentives to these prospective businesses. With our three suggestions, we could possibly be providing town, state, and federal benefits for a business to come here. Lastly, if possible, we would like to recommend that the current ERZs, the Economic Revitalization Zones, also have the added benefits of the TIF district and opportunity zoning. We look forward to your ideas and suggestions, and as always, look forward to working with you on this and in the future. And what they've done is they've basically laid out all of Route 16 into a new zone, or what they've suggested, which would go from the town line, I think it's all the way down, well, it looks like it's all the way down to, well, it's Ossipee Mountain Road, so it looks like it would be all the way down to the Twin Bridges at Route 16, or thereabouts. The Economic Revitalization Zone doesn't cost the town of Ossipee a cent. We did those through Pat Jones's work 2 or 3 years ago that we created the two that we have currently. I'm not sure about the size of this one, and I guess there's a process where we have to discuss it, vote on it, and then we apply through the state to get that designation for that area. And I'm going to suggest that we go ahead and do that. It doesn't cost us anything, but anything that we can do is an incentive. One of the things that we did discuss at length in this roundtable was the fact that the town of Ossipee adopted that tax credit back in March. That's a big deal, and some of the towns around us chose not to. But what this does, I think, preemptively, is it says to not only to this gentleman, but to anybody else that's looking to relocate a business into this area, that we want them here and we want to see them be successful. Any thoughts?
I agree with you.
Can you see this?
True.
So it cuts out. So it cuts out that part where the Hobbs is?
Well, what it does.
It's a covered bridge.
Yeah.
Oh, there's Hobbs right there.
So what it does is it takes into these lots, which are
Yeah.
along 25,
And these over here on the other side.
and these ones here, which are all part of the part of Mount Whitney.
I just was there, I just happened to see that
Yeah.
line, it just kind of did the way it,
Well, because this follows what is already commercial.
yeah.
Okay, I'll make a motion that we make the application to establish the economic revitalization zone in the area as depicted by our Economic Development Council.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. On the other one, I'm gonna actually hold off, because there was a little bit of discussion about the TIF and the opportunity zone, and I think they probably are both good things. I just don't know enough about them yet myself to recommend them. I'd like to have another week to look at those, and maybe Ash can come in next week and explain to us more of what we're adopting,
Yeah,
if it's all right with everybody.
sounds good.
Okay. Previously, we had prepared a letter to go to the New Hampshire Fish and Game regarding the boat launch at the Car Top boat launch at Connor Pond. We have added a signature line, Mr. Comeau, for you. If you would like to participate, we would gladly have you join our letter. It's up to you, okay? And we'll get that mailed out. We have the Highway Department work log, which is here in the folder for anybody to look at if they would like. We received a check for $55,075.29, which is from the Highway Block Grant. We have several dog incident reports involving our dog officer, which are here in the folder. We have a copy of the consent calendar from the Executive Council, which is here in the folder if anybody would like to look at it.
Is it Tom?
What time are they advertised to, the sealed bids?
To be open at 4:30.
4:30,
Time is it?
4:31.
Okay. We have several sealed bids, and these are on the surplus vehicles which have been advertised. First one is for a 2000 Ford F-350. Bid is $651, and that's from James R. Eldridge. Second bid, this is from Ricker Auto Salvage. Bid on 3 vehicles, and the 2004 F-350, $1,111.11. And on both the 2012 and 2013 Chevy Impala, we bid $222.22. Third one is from Asian Auto Services in Plastow. On the 2004 F-350, bid $632. And on the 2012 and 2013 Impala, they bid $32. I guess they forgot the fact that we could reject any or all bids, and I think we'd probably get $200 for them if we junked them. But,
We could get it.
oh well. Huh?
We could come get it.
Well. Next is a bid from Jacqueline Browser, and it's for car number 6, which I'm not sure which one that is, but the bid is $350. The last is from Matt Scrutton from Rochester. On the 2004 F-350, he bid $526.50. The 2012 and the 2013 Impala, he bid $326.50. If you compile those into, Brad will probably give them back to you if you'll compile those into a sheet as to which one bid the most, and then we'll decide where we're going.
You are and see if it would be nice.
Was the water and sewer in
I
this?
don't think there's anything in
I don't think there's anything in the water and sewer.
Martha has all this stuff over there. Go that way.
Okay. Old business. The Boston Post cane. I see we've approved the expenditure to purchase a couple of replicas.
Correct.
Have
They'll be
you
here
had
in a
any,
week, and then I just have to get them engraved.
have you had any,
I do have a contact for the family
okay,
of the eligible recipient, so I just want to make sure that we have the cane in hand to find out how long it's going to be to engrave it.
Okay.
Make arrangements.
all right,
Soon.
we're good. All right, Brad, anything on 28-171?
No, nothing on that one.
How about sidewalks?
Yep. Last week, after the meeting there, Met with White Mountain Survey the next morning. We did the changes on the plan that they requested as far as the drainage goes at the parking lot exit right across the street and also down at the end where the water goes back in the wetland. Submitted those to DOT they got them back to me within a day from White Mountain. Submitted them to DOT and on Wednesday or Thursday last week, and I talked to him today, and he said the plans all look good. The only thing he hasn't got any approval on is the crosswalk location, maybe the new one up there by the railroad tracks, but he said other than that, he could pretty much give us the go-ahead with the sidewalks themselves. So what he's gonna do is, I should see it this week, he's gonna prepare a maintenance agreement between the town and the state. Basically saying that we'll maintain them wintertime and summertime, stuff like that. Once we sign off on that, I think we'll have the go-ahead to build them, so. I should have that for you next week, I would think, if I get it this week to bring to the meeting outside.
If they need more time to review the crosswalks, that's fine, but that
Yeah.
shouldn't stop us from getting the stuff together to get out to bid on the
Yeah.
parts that we need to.
Yeah, that's pretty much what his comment was, so.
Okay. All right. Anything new on the permit to put some more beach sand down on Duncan Lake?
No, not on that yet, no.
Okay. Can you check on that for next week,
Yep.
please? Transfer station fees, we still have not settled anything, still on there. Covered bridge, anything new?
No, nothing on that one yet to report.
And windows on the Ossipee property cleanup, that's out to bid now?
It's out to bid, the proposals are due August 17th.
Okay. Any other old business? Get the surplus vehicles, we've announced the gym closing, public input, anybody?
Rick, after or during the roundtable that we had in regards to the redevelopment of the former Whittier ski area properties, and the discussion went to the economic revitalization zone, which you brought up here tonight. Once that's in place for West Ossipee, has the town thought about making a concerted investment in time and money and try to promote the economic revitalization zones? I know through the state, I'm going to forget which website, you can see the different ERZs that are present in the state, but something to help highlight what our traffic numbers are for Route 16 and then Route 25, how many people, how many visitors we have that pass through the area, how many of them are here utilizing the campgrounds and the other resources that are here. To try to help develop a profile for what the town could have, because in my opinion, we benefit from having the intersection of two major roadways, and being located between Rochester really being the last place if there's any commercial development until you get to Conway. I think that there are things that the town could do to try to help gain momentum, I guess, for lack of a better term, for trying to draw attention to how many properties are currently undeveloped, how many properties are currently, developed but are in need of redevelopment, and then the opportunities that will be there for them, whether it's through the different tax credits and everything else and what the town's put in place. I think with the upgrade of Route 16 and the identification of an additional ERZ, I think it would be a great time to get our ducks in a row to try to take advantage of something that I think could all lead to positive benefits for the town.
I don't disagree. Sorry. The town has put itself, I think, in a really, really good position. We have this board, and now with an economic development committee, which is really active. I mean, I've said for years and years and years, Pat Jones, God bless her, was the town's economic development committee for years and years and years and years, and did nothing. We did nothing, virtually. It wasn't for her lack of trying. The zoning changes that were put through now 3 years ago, which allowed for more than one business on one lot, was a huge, needed step in the right direction. A very, very, all three of the zoning amendments that were passed that year were definitely in economic development in mind. They were all pro-business. With the adoption last year of both the commercial and industrial tax credit, which we were not required to do, but allowed us to do. And we didn't have to do both, and we chose to do both. We didn't have to adopt the maximum, and we did. I think what we're sending is a very, very clear message that the town of Ossipee is serious about wanting good, clean, economic development. I think the economic redevelopment zones help, because what it does is it automatically puts those areas onto that database that you were talking about. And I've got to believe if you or I were looking to locate into an area, one of the first stops would be at that website to see where I can go and get a tax break. I think all of those things are absolutely things that put us in a better position. For those towns around us, for instance, who did not, and I was surprised, quite frankly, at how many didn't adopt that tax credit. I think it put them at a disadvantage and gave us a serious competitive advantage. Your point is well taken. I think now there is, and I think that's something that the selectmen can help with. I think that's something that our economic development committee can help with, is to now to start to blow that horn and say, here we are, come take a look. Ossipee has a lot to offer, a lot to offer. Some of the developments going on right now with the addition of the O'Reillys down here, I'm encouraged by meeting with Mr. Kenny up there and what his plans are up there. If people want tax relief, if they want property tax relief, the way we get that is through business. You don't get it by adding houses. It's a sad but true fact. If you have a family move in with 2 children, who, even if they pay $5,000 a year in property taxes, it will cost you $15,000 additional each year to educate the children. I'm not anti-children. My wife and I have 6 together, but the fact of the matter is, you are at a net loss for every family that moves in. If you want property tax relief, the way you get that is by commercial development. Commercial development out on Route 16, and hopefully protect much of the rural character in the rest of the town. I think your point is well taken. I think we need to come up with a plan, and that will be working with our economic development committee to say how can we best do that.
And I was gonna recommend that the town website, right on the homepage, and then you should have a separate page that highlights just this very issue. And I think it'd be prudent that we have some of these billboard locations along Route 16. I think that a billboard that highlighted that the town of Ossipee is open for business, to catch those casual people that are traveling through on their way to Conway or whatever, or people that are here on vacation, to maybe help plant that seed to maybe, yeah, you know, maybe this is something I need to look into further, and then have people who are designated as the active contacts, if there's an email that comes in, you know, looking for more information, that stuff is responded to as quickly as possible and accurately as possible.
It's an interesting point about this. I never thought about a billboard.
Yeah,
We've got to own a bunch of, I know we own property on Route 16.
yeah.
It'd be easy to potentially look at getting a permit and putting our own up versus hiring somebody else's.
Listen,
I
yeah.
would suggest using an existing one, because if you remember years and years ago, Route 16 looked like a porcupine. But my other question originally was, and you may not have that information, but how does the tax break affect existing businesses?
It helps existing businesses. It doesn't do anything for an existing business, it doesn't change. But any existing business which is looking to add on, do redesign, remodeling, it gives them that same 50% tax break on the increased value of their product, that portion of it, for up to 5 years. So it does help existing businesses who want to expand as much as it helps new businesses wanting to come in.
What about the residential that's along that same strip? There are several residential homes. Are they going to be changed over to commercial residential?
Not on that. That's something that has traditionally happened in a lot of towns. At least it will never happen with my vote. There would have to be a zoning amendment change to the district anyway. But it is, I think, tremendously unfair for somebody who lives in a house that's zoned residential, and all of a sudden they change their zoning to commercial, and their tax rate goes way up. I don't think that's fair. It would never happen by my vote. It wouldn't happen by my vote. And that's nothing that the Board of Selectmen could do anyway. That's something that would have to be adopted by a vote at town meeting. So I would hope they wouldn't do that. Anybody else? The public input? Okay. We don't have any need. The tax collector is all set. Do you have anything to add?
We do have household hazardous waste this Saturday.
This Saturday is the household hazardous waste. It's a great opportunity for if you've got solvents, especially stains, any kind of chemicals whatsoever. It's the yearly great opportunity to get them disposed of properly. Starts here at what time?
8:30 till 12.
8:30 to 12, right here at Town Hall, and we can get it disposed of properly. It's a good idea. Anything else? Someone? Okay. Ed, any updates?
No, I'm on the agenda for a new dorm, so
Okay.
I will find out what their thoughts are on the school
Okay.
district proposals.
Okay.
That way, and I'll report back to you and find out
All
more.
right. Anybody have anything else? None, I make a motion to adjourn. All in favor? Aye. Thank you.